This is like a great frame. Okay, this is fine here.
No cursing, right?
No, you do a lot.
You can do whatever you want.
It's like, sure, you know, don't want
You can go on like a long rant and just cuss words. It's fine.
Yeah. So we kind of do it like in a Q&A format.
Yeah.
And then. Awesome. Okay.
As long as I look good. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Like, as long as I look great, that's all that matters.
Yeah. No one listens to this shit anyway.
Exactly. Everyone's on mute social media anyway. It's like, oh, like.
Okay, cool. So, if you could tweet one thing out and everyone would see it, let's say it goes viral, like everyone on the internet sees it, what would you tweet?
If I could tweet anything that the whole world can see, I would probably tweet something along the lines of like, you know, it's okay. Just it's okay. Because I think a lot of people just realize in life that, you know, like there's so much pressure out there and like life sucks. Right now, especially nowadays, life totally sucks. So I just want people to feel that, hey, you know, it's okay. You know, it's like you're gonna make it. You know, maybe that's a combination of two things. I'll reply to my own tweet saying, it's okay, you're gonna make it. Something along those lines.
Right. Well, and like, why is that something? Like, why that or something else? Like, why does that rank higher than something?
You know, well, I'm thinking about Twitter right now in the sense that it's a very powerful tool, but also a very toxic tool at the same time. Where, you know, there's a lot of, you know, bad stuff that's happening out there, a lot of negative people out there, and just to see something, just a small hint of like positivity, especially on Twitter, I think can just go along, you know, pretty good along the way, honestly.
Yeah. So when people walk up to you at a party, let's say, and they ask you, what do you do?
What do I do?
What do you tell them?
I do whatever you want me to do, honestly. You know, no, that's the thing though, because and it's funny because people DM me too all the time. It's like, what do you do? What do I do? But at the end of the day, it's just content creating. So I have an audience on Instagram, and brands work with me because they want to be a part of that audience. I'm a living, breathing billboard, maybe. Or I'm a walking ad space. These, you know, brands might see me as, and I create content for them. So, for example, a brand will be like, "Hey Diego, we have these new shoes coming out. Can we work with you to promote that on your channel?" Because they want my audience to see those shoes, and then hopefully they can purchase the shoes. But of course, the key thing is I gotta actually like the stuff. So that's always the hard part.
And how did you get started with this? Like, how did you end up in the space where you became a walking billboard?
Yes. So
what's the Batman origin story?
So you go to billboard school, and then so I used to be a teacher actually. I used to teach preschool. I had my bachelor's in early childhood education, my master's in literacy education. So the whole plan was to save the world. That was the whole idea. But what got me into fashion actually were my students, because at my school, all my kids wore uniforms. So, you know, I didn't want to dress like crap in front of my kids. You know, if they're wearing ties and cardigans, I got to step up. So I went on social media to learn how to dress better from other bloggers. I was like, all right, how do I wear a suit? How do I wear a tie? Whatever. And then I started posting that. I started making that a part of my lifestyle, just wearing suits all the time. And then posted it on Instagram. And then I remember the first time a brand slid in my DMs and they were like, hey Diego, we like your Instagram. Can we send you a free tie? And I'm like, yeah, whoa, free tie. That's amazing. But I learned that, you know, they didn't send that tie because they liked me. They sent that tie because they saw me as someone with an audience. So I learned about influencer marketing that way, content creating that way. So I kind of left teaching. I took some classes in digital marketing just to learn more about behind the scenes. And I kind of started my blog, Dandy in the Bronx, as a living, breathing resume of all the things I've been learning so far, and as a way to showcase my neighborhood and my suits at the same time. And now I'm here hanging out with you guys, so far so good.
Do you remember that moment where you were like, I can make it as a fashion influencer. I don't have to teach anymore.
So at the time, leaving teaching was tough, but I was very disenfranchised with what was happening. It was just really tough, and I felt I was putting a lot of energy in and not getting a lot of it in return. And initially, it was like, let me get into marketing, digital marketing, social media marketing, because I felt like I got a taste of that with getting the free tie. And it's like, wow, people do this for a living. Not the being the blogger part, but like managing companies and being like, hey, let's work with these bloggers and do stuff with them to promote our products. So that's initially how I got into it. I worked I worked at a food startup, I worked at a bunch of fashion startups doing their social media. But then I realized like I'm getting a lot more gigs now. These brands are like, hey Diego, we want you to promote this, we want you to promote that. And I remember my first paid gig was with a belt brand. And a belt company was like, hey Diego, we want to work with you, we want to give you this belt. And I was like, all right, what's your budget? And then they gave me a number, and I remember getting my first, PayPal payment from them for posting about these belts. And I was like, if I did this a bunch of times a month, I can pay my bills that way. So then I kind of fell into that way.
And why fashion? Like, why not something else? Like, why fashion? Now, you did tell us like how you kind of got into it, but you could have used your marketing skills that you learned from all these startups and the places you work to do something else. Maybe you could have become an influencer with teaching. Like, how do you teach young kids?
Why fashion? You are absolutely correct. Like, why did I pick fashion? I just kind of fell into it because I felt very comfortable with fashion and just getting into suits. Before I even got into this, I literally had no style. Mom bought clothes for me. Like, that's how I didn't know what I was wearing. Going to store and shopping for clothes, I didn't know what I was doing. But the suit just made me feel powerful. And you know how the people usually say you don't judge a book by its cover? That's BS. It's not true, because people judge people by their looks all the time. So why not control that and dress in a certain way where people treat you a certain way because of that? So wearing a suit not only made me feel confident, it made other people treat me a different way because they saw me as this other thing, So, if I became like a hypebeast or something, would I have gotten that same feeling? Probably not, Nothing against hypebeast, but the suiting, the menswear, the classic, the dapper, dandy style just gave me a lot more confidence, and then plus, I was able to feel it when other people treated me a lot differently.
And I'm curious, do you still get that high of teaching or that kick of teaching? Because you're kind of teaching also still.
You're absolutely correct.
So do you think of yourself as a teacher still, or like as something different now? I don't know.
I still love teaching. I went to school for teaching, so I might not be teaching my preschoolers anymore, but I'm teaching now people, how to pair a tie with a pocket square, how to get a good blazer, what to go looking for when you're shoe shopping. So even though I might not be teaching, basic stuff with my kids anymore, but now I'm teaching just a different thing. So I'm still getting that kick of teaching, just in a different way, honestly.
And how do you think it's different? Let's say not teaching about fashion, but teaching online as opposed to offline. Because you're not meeting with these people like at an individual level and trying to convey that. Like, I don't know. Does your master's degree help with this? Like, I don't know.
No,
this is different.
Sadly, my master's degree did not teach me how to teach via text message or DMs. Sadly, actually, probably nowadays they probably do nowadays, but no, it doesn't. So I prefer obviously to teach in person. I've done panel talks before, and I've spoken to people, and I've done group, workshops and stuff like that. And you can't be one-on-one human interaction and say, okay, this is what works, this is what works. Like literally today, someone DM'd me saying, hey Diego, I just got my first suit for a wedding. What should I do to up its game? So I'm just literally sending paragraphs of text, and I felt like if I just were sitting with that person, I could be like, okay, check for this, check for that, make sure it fits here, make sure it fits there, because it's so much easier. I'd rather talk than type anything out anyway. But yeah, it makes it tougher DMing someone, here's what to look for. I'd rather do it in person anyway.
So what does your day-to-day look like? Are you creating content about what to wear, or just taking pictures? Are you doing one-on-one coaching with people? What are your different revenue streams? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Everything you just mentioned.
Okay, cool. It's a little leading question.
Yeah, thanks for answering it for me. But it's a combination of all those things. So, doing photo shoots for brands, going to events, consulting, creating content for people. Sometimes I take pictures for people or brands that don't even involve me, and they just need content for their social media channels. And then other times it's me going to events, and they pay me sometimes to go to events and to just blog about it or write about it. And then there's product placements, maybe this company wants to promote this tie, so I'm creating content with this tie. That's pretty much my day-to-day. So my morning consists of answering a million emails. I try to go to the gym when I can. Then like having meetings just like this and talking to people, and then going to events, and then networking, and then rinse and repeat. You know, I try to breathe on Sundays, but you know, it changes up depending on what I have to do.
Yeah, so let's dig into the fashion, right? Do you think fashion is something, there is some, what do you say? There's some baseline for everybody, or like, is it separate from person to person?
You know, it's interesting though you mentioned that, because yes, of course, fashion is subjective. You know, what I'm wearing doesn't make it better than what you're wearing. It doesn't, you know, because it all depends on, you know, comfortability, how comfortable you are,
Right.
or like what presentation you're doing something, you know, it all depends. Like I feel comfortable wearing a suit, you know, all the time. That's how I feel comfortable. Some people feel comfortable wearing a t-shirt all the time, you know, wearing sneakers, whatever. It depends on what you want and what you want to do with. And if you're gonna do it, I feel like you gotta do it right. So if you're gonna wear a suit, make sure you wear a good suit, make sure it fits, make sure, you know, you have the cuffs showing, make sure, you know, it's not too tight, you know. It's what you want from it. So usually my niche is wearing suits, so the people who follow me, they're here for the suiting. They want to know about what fits them, what are the new styles coming out, different ways to wear stuff. So it depends on what you want, and then trying to find the people to help you get what you want.
Why do you love suits so much? Why did you pick that over some other, you said you were comfortable in them, but
Yes.
I'm sure there's more to it than just that.
You know, it just felt right to me, and it's a classic style. So fashion's always changing, style's always changing, you know. But the man's three-piece suit has literally almost stayed the same for the past couple hundred years, honestly. And it just evolves with small alterations, you know. In the 90s, suits used to be really baggy, you know. Nowadays, suits are very, you know, form-fitting. You know, guys like me who might be shorter, we might not have, you know, no breaks on our pants. Maybe we're showing a lot more ankle now. I wear shorts with my suits, so it's a lot of evolution from that. But at the end of the day, it's still that same, you know, silhouette. You know, the jacket and the slacks or whatever. And I just feel for that, it just accentuates my body a lot better than any other type of, you know, menswear. And plus, it just makes me feel good about myself. And you know, as long as people still like, you know, people wearing suits, so far good for me.
What do you think is the biggest mistake people make while wearing a suit?
I think the biggest mistake people make when wearing suits is buying a suit that doesn't fit them. I think there's certain things that guys just don't realize when wearing suits. You don't just buy a suit and just put it on, you know. There's some things that you have to watch out for. So for example, this jacket I have right here. You guys gotta show a little bit of cuff. If it's something like this, you know, I can't even pull it down that much, but, you know, make sure it's not too long, make sure it's, you know, short enough. Making friends with your dry cleaner is so important. You know, a lot of dry cleaners nowadays have all, you know, people who do alterations there. Go to them and, you know, cut up your suit, you know, there's a good chance that probably your suit doesn't fit you. Also, the slacks, you know, check how many breaks your pants have. And if you're wondering what breaks are, it's basically how many times your pants fold over upon itself on top of your shoe. You know, as a shorter guy, I try to cut that whole thing off. No breaks, just a sweep, you know, straight leg look, because, you know, visually it makes you look a little bit taller. So if you're a taller guy, maybe you might need that, but, you know, dressing for your body type and your height, and then with that, it's gonna make you pop out a lot more.
What about accessories with suits? What are your thoughts on that? How do people mess that up? What should people do? Where's that going?
So the biggest mistake in terms of suiting mistakes is in terms of ties and pocket squares and stuff. So do not match your tie and your pocket square. It shouldn't be the exact same thing. I see a lot of guys sometimes might have the exact same fabric or pattern for it. And a lot of times when you buy a pocket square tie at a big box retailers, they might come together in the exact same pattern. Do not do this. It just doesn't look good. And I also tell people that if you're trying to figure out what matches, an easy way to figure out what colors match, like if you're not going to dive into color theory, obviously, but you know, a good way to think about it is think about sports teams. For example, the Mets, navy, orange, combo, right there. you know, the Patriots. I think they're like navy, a little bit of silver, white and red. I think it is. There you go, color combination. You know, Jets, you know, green and white, color combination right there. So if you're trying to figure out what colors go together, start with a sports team to help you put them together that way.
I really like that. That's such a good way to remember color combinations.
100%.
That's like really hard for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's somebody watching this who's like, okay, like, I want to get into fashion, but I don't care about suits. Like, I'm just like an everyday dude, and like I go and do my job and stuff. You know, and I don't have to wear a suit, and I'm going out during the weekend. Like, how can I look better? And I don't care about suits.
100%. No.
What do I do?
I would, you know, you're right. Not everyone wants to wear a suit,
Right.
you know, 100%, you know, but I always tell guys it needs to fit whatever you're wearing, no matter what you're doing, because I think a lot of people forget that, you know, people are looking at your fit, people are looking at your style. You know, if you're gonna wear a t-shirt, make sure it's a t-shirt that fits you, you know. Wear clothes based on your height, your body type, you know. Remember, it's not trying to hide your body, it's to accentuate your body, you know. So, you know, try to figure out, you know, jeans that fit, you know, if you're gonna cuff your jeans, you know, maybe if you're showing some sock, what kind of socks you should be wearing. Whatever you do, try to make it comfortable, make sure it fits you, so that feeling of positivity you're getting from your own clothes resonates to other people.
But Diego, I can't find my size. What do I do?
That you're right, a lot of people can't find their size, especially in a lot of stores nowadays. Like one size here is a different size there, one size here is a different size there. It's funny thing you mentioned that because a lot of my clothing is made to measure. So in terms of suiting, you know, you can go to different suiting places and they will make your clothes made to measure. And they will measure your body and get you a shirt that literally fits you, one of a kind to you. But here's the cool thing about that. You know, if you go to a made-to-measure place, you don't have to just get a made-to-measure suit. They make made-to-measure shorts, made-to-measure shirts. You know, you can get that to be something that's unique to you. And of course, you know, it sucks though, but you might have to go to a bunch of places to figure out what fits you at the end of the day. And take advantage of the people who work in the store, you know. Of course, they're trying to sell you something, but they're not going to lie to you either, you know. If they say, hey, that fits or it doesn't fit, you know.
And so, are most of your clothes made to measure, or are you buying them and then getting them, you know, altered to make it fit you?
So a majority of my suits right now and clothes are made to measure. For example, this shirt I have right here is a made to measure shirt I got from a brand I worked with. And luckily now, with my profession, I'm able to get a lot more made to measure clothes where I don't have to go off the rack. But if I do go off the rack, obviously you gotta get it tailored regardless. You go to your local dry cleaner, you gotta cut it up. I have a lot of blazers where a brand might send me something and then the sleeve is gonna be all the way over there, you know? Or, you know, it might be too big on me, it's not tight enough. So I always have to get it cut up to make sure it fits you, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't fit, then why wear it in the first place?
Where do you see fashion or suiting, whatever, take your pick, going? Like, you know, you talked about, you know, before the suits were baggy, and now they're fit. Like, where do you see this going?
In terms of suiting, I keep hoping that we keep into the whole fitted style. I don't want to go back to baggy clothes. No, do not do that. But in terms of fashion, it's just getting a lot more open to a lot of people can just enter the game. There's so many more menswear brands out there doing suits now, and just trying to figure out better ways to get people into clothes. Like I worked with a suiting brand that does 3D measurements on you. So you get in a room and they scan your body to get the perfect fit. So as long as technology keeps evolving, you know, better fitting clothes is going to keep evolving as well. So as long as I see tech like that keep changing, it's going to be also perhaps more affordable down the line. You know, of course, if you get a bespoke suit, it's going to be running you around $2K because it's literally one of a kind, doesn't exist anywhere else. But as made-to-measure brands keep popping up, the prices keep going down. But hopefully not too down where it's, you know, kind of ridiculous, but more that it's the barrier to entry is much lower.
So you said that you're wearing suits all the time.
Yes.
Do you sleep in a suit?
Maybe.
No, but my real question is like, do you ever go somewhere and you're like, ah, this suit's not so appropriate
No.
here? Or then people
Wrong.
ask you, like, why are you wearing a suit?
I've moshed in a suit. I've crowd surfed in a suit. I've, you know,
Wait, so do
things.
people come up to you and go like, dude, where are you wearing
Oh yeah,
a
100%. No, 100%. So.
And what do you tell them?
Why are you wearing a hoodie? Like what's the difference? You know, like, So I used to go to a lot of electronic shows in Brooklyn, you know, way back when, and you know, I'd be down there wearing my, you know, my jacket and you know whatever, and you know, just dancing and hanging out, whatever. The only time I wear a suit is probably underwater. That's the only time probably.
Yeah.
Until a brand makes me a, you know, scuba style suit, and I'm still waiting for that. But you know, but that's my thing. That's my aesthetic. You know, like I love wearing a suit. You know, it would be lying to myself if I'm not like wearing a suit,
Right.
no matter what it is. You know.
Yeah. No, and the reason I'm asking that is because like the first time you probably did it or decided that you were going to wear suits everywhere.
Yeah.
Was it a little awkward and weird? Did you feel, because you know there are people out there who want to, let's say, vlog or do other things, and they're kind of scared about what other people think. And so I was wondering, like, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, people are going to think what they want to think, you know. But for me, it's been very lucky because my suits, you know, usually when I'm walking down in the Bronx, people are like, oh, cool suit, man. People have literally stopped me, hey, sir, nice jacket, or something like that. So if I'm out there, you know, hello everybody, it's Diego Dandy in the Bronx. Today we're doing X, Y, and Z. Like, it doesn't matter because people are going to look at you anyway, regardless of what you're doing. So for me, I'm just doing it in a suit. Does that make it better? I don't know. But does it make me feel better? Yes, it does.
That's very cool. I really like that. Okay, so now we've kind of got some of the fashion stuff. We talked about that. Now there's somebody watching who's like, okay, you know, I don't really care about suits. My fashion game is all right. I don't really care about it. But like, I'm really into this Instagram influencer thing, and I want to get paid to live a certain way or do a certain thing. What are your thoughts on just that part of what you do, removing the fashion
Yes. You know, people also slide in my DMs asking me, how do I become an influencer? How do I do what you do? And here's the thing. Nowadays, everyone with their mom's a vlogger. So that's always it's going to be the hard part because there's a lot more people doing this. So you need to figure out what's your niche. What's that specific thing that you really love? I love suits, so that's why I am okay waking up every morning, putting on a 3-piece, going out there and making content. Do you love Tupperware? Do you love basketball shoes? Do you love coding? Whatever you do, be passionate about it and then write about it. Take pictures about it. Create content surrounding it. Whatever it is, that's the thing you gotta figure out. Once you love that, try and figure out a good schedule of posting about it or writing about it. If you're a plant guy, then all right, so you're creating plant content every day. And then once you do that, then people will start noticing you. Build up your own personal community. Find other communities who are doing that. You know, I'm very lucky right now where I'm a menswear blogger. I'm based in the Bronx. I'm Latino, and I'm a guy. So like that helps a lot because there's not a lot of people like me doing this. So what are you? Are you a plant guy based in Brooklyn who is, you know, whatever? What's your niche? Figure it out. Maybe you like cooking toys, whatever it is, figure it out and then create stuff surrounding that, and that's how you differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack.
And is that why you've stuck to suits and not expanded to, let's say, you know, like t-shirts, and how do you know, like
What's a t-shirt?
shoes or, you know, is that why you've stuck to suits? Just because it's your niche?
Yeah,
and you're
100%.
trying to maximize that?
Yeah, like if you go through my content, you know, what is casual? You know, that's not part of my vernacular. You know,
Yeah.
so like it's always about yes, like of course, you know, I can't wear a suit working out yet, you know, but like, but that's usually what it is, you know. So it's, you know, I might have some content where I'm working out, and that's usually when I, you know, wear human clothes to go like work out or whatever. But you know, that's me staying on brand, being true to myself, because that's what people come here for. They come here for the suits. So why I gotta show them all the suits all the time?
And then how do you think about differentiation from other Instagram influencers, from other fashion people, from I'm sure there are a bunch of other suit people.
Of course.
How do you think about how am I going to be different from them? Is that something you think about? Or
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, you know, that's what you got to do. What is your differentiator? Like I mentioned before, Latino, Bronx, you know, menswear suiting. You know, that's already, you know, the Venn diagram has shrunk so much already to find that specific type of content creator. But there's other student guys out there. Maybe there's people who do a lot of, flat lay pictures, or there's guys who are based in, LA. Maybe they do suiting, but with like a tropical twist or a warm weather twist, or maybe there's bloggers who do suiting, but, they have a specific color palette that they work with. Or maybe there's people who wear novelty suits, so that's your whole gimmick, You just gotta figure out what's that specific thing that you can do that separates yourself. Maybe you do menswear history with your posts, or maybe you're more of a old school type of suit wearing guy, a jazz age, suit wearing guy. Whatever it is, double down on it and then create surrounding that.
And what would you say is your style within suits?
So
if you could describe it.
So my blog is called Dandy in the Bronx, and the word dandy, that's the aesthetic I try to achieve, strive for. So dandy is an old school English word, basically for a man who's, takes care of himself, well put, think of it as the original term for metrosexual, even though it's a problematic term regardless though. But if you're trying to figure out what a dandy means, it's kind of like that. So like a dandy from way back when literally was an influencer of their times. People were looking to them to like, what are the cool suits? We gotta invite this guy to the party. The king has to invite this guy over to like hang out just because he's wearing a cool suit. So that's where I want to be a modern dandy in the Bronx.
And how long have you been on this Dandy in the Bronx journey?
Yeah, I started my blog in 2014, so.
And you have around 35K, 40K almost.
So right now,
right?
I think 42K right
40,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
What tips do you have for other people on how do you grow your audience?
Yeah, so like as I mentioned before, what's your niche? What's your specific thing? So if you're the master of Tupperware, where's the Tupperware bloggers at? Where's the Tupperware community? And then figure out who are those Tupperware people and follow them. Engage with their followers, like their people's stuff. And then from there, you just figure out what they're doing and try to get in yourself in that culture of Tupperwares, whatever it is, So you gotta immerse yourself in it. So every day when I'm on my Instagram, I'm also commenting on people. I'm liking people's stuff. I'm liking other mentor bloggers. I'm liking, so they can see me, I can see them, their audience can see me as well. So the key thing is you gotta build a big community. Think about it this way. Why should I follow your Tupperware blog? What am I gaining from your Tupperware blog? Like there's so many other Tupperware blogs. Why would that makes your Tupperware blog different from the rest? So once you figure out that hook to get people to follow you, then you keep them with the content, Tupperware meal plans, Tupperware, for the kids, how to make a lunch pack for the kids, different Tupperware colors for, Tupperware parties. You gotta figure out what's that thing that sets you apart from everybody else.
The question that I get a lot when I tell people that I kind of, interview and talk to Instagram influencers and stuff is, how do I go about making money? Like, I can get brand deals, but what is the day-to-day process of that look like? Do you reach out to them? Do they reach out to you? Do you need to have a certain size of audience? Like, what are the mechanics and the fundamentals of that? Like, how do you make this a living and not just a side thing?
100%. The thing is, what makes it different is to make it the main gig is they got to figure out what can you offer brands. Like I mentioned before, everyone and their mom is a blogger. They could probably get a bunch of people to just post, like I said, some free stuff and get some, free pictures, free mentions or whatever. But the key thing is you have to figure out what do these influencers have a value for the brand, whether it be a dedicated audience, whether they're content creators. Like maybe a brand is paying someone not because they have a huge audience, but because they make cool videos, or they can create good, pictures of the shoes, What can you offer them? So that's why I'm very lucky where I have a combination of those things. So a brand is like, hey, yeah, we have an audience, but we also like your photography, or you do really cool unboxing videos. We won't be a part of that. And that's how they start paying you, because remember, at the end of the day, they can just buy ads. Why would they need an influencer? Because paying for an ad space on Google AdWords or whatever, that's not going to get you content. It's going to get you eyeballs, but it doesn't bridge a connection between a human audience with an influencer. So that's what influencers, provide to these brands. It's content creation, it's an actual audience, and it puts an actual human behind the product.
And how big was your audience when you got that first deal, for that first check? Or was it tie? It was a tie, right?
The first, okay, so
It was a belt.
my first free product, to be frank, I don't remember. I'm gonna say it was probably at like 1,000. I think I had 1,000 followers when I got my first free product from social media. And my first paid gig, I think maybe I was around 10K, I would think. I can't recall right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, cool. Was there a time when you were like, fuck, like what am I doing? Like, you know, I should have stuck with my job, like I shouldn't have quit this, and like what am I doing? I'm wearing suits everywhere, what the hell is going on? Like, how did I get here? Like
The only time I ever feel that way, where I'm feeling overwhelmed or like, what am I even doing here in the first place, is usually when I get a brand who wants to work with me, and then like I have to read like 40 pages of like, you know, contracts and negotiations and BS like that, and I'm like, I don't even want to read any of this. Like, where do I sign? I don't care. Own my life. I don't care. I don't care anymore. You know. So that's the parts when it does suck, when I have to like read it. Sucks. No, but like, yeah, but like it's, you know, luckily it's not a lot of moments like that, you know. So it's mostly like these brands will contact me and they're like, hey Diego, we want to work with you. You know, here's the contract. You know, we want this. We want this many posts. We want this much content. I'm like, all right, perfect. We can work this out. Here's the timeline. I'll post it here. Here's the images. Done. But then it gets sometimes crazy where like a brand will like, all right, we gotta pre-approve your Instagram stories before they go up, and I'm like. Instagram stories, you know, like, but other than that, luckily, that doesn't happen too much. But like I said, I'm so lucky to be here in the first place.
what is the ratio of you reaching out to the brands and them reaching out to you?
You know, lucky for me, it's half and half. You know,
Okay.
like I'll get emails from companies saying, "Hey Diego, we want you to promote this beer. If you're interested, let us know." Usually, when I'm reaching out, it's when I want to do like a crazy project. For example, earlier this year, I got nominated for an award. There's this like Latino social media conference called Hispanicize, and I got nominated for Best Fashion Blogger. And they're like, hey, we'll give you tickets to the event, you know, and everything's like, cool, amazing. But we're not going to send you there. The event was in Miami. So I started to say, all right, so now I got to pitch myself to these brands because I'm not going to spend my money to go to this event. So let me make content out of this. So I went down my emails, pitching to brands, say, hey, I won this award. You know, the award is this weekend. I want to stay there for the whole weekend. What can we do? And then pitching to them, say, hey, I have this idea. We can make X, Y, and Z. I'll do this many stories. I'll do this many tweets. And I got it. You know, this brand, you know, paid for my airline tickets and hotel to go to Hispanicize and create that content. I didn't win the award, but hell, I got a free trip to Miami, and that's all that matters.
You talk about, it's all about what value are you giving to brands.
Yes.
Do you remember what your pitch was when you had 10K followers on, like, hey, like you should pay me because of this?
Yes. It's always about providing value, you know. Providing one Instagram photo, you know, unless you're a Kim Kardashian, literally means nothing, you know. So I always try to like offer different things. So it's like, hey, you get this many tweets, you get this many Facebook posts, you get this many Instagram stories, you get this many, you know, pictures. You also get some extra pictures on the side, so you can use your own social media. Plus, I'll do an Instagram post, obviously. So it's like providing different variety for these brands, you know. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of these startups, they run lean. They don't want to pay for anything. So you got to give them some kind of value to make it worthwhile.
What has been the most unique sort of deal structure that you've done that, you know, most people wouldn't think of? Most people would just think about, you know, just a post or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or are they pretty standard?
You know, they're usually pretty standard, you know. What I usually ask for sometimes, it's like, you know, well, if a brand might be like, hey, Jay, we want to give you this suit. It's like, well, but we're not going to pay you. Well, cool, I don't mind having a lot of suits. So yes. But then I'll be like, all right, well, you still got to pay me because I need tailoring, I need dry cleaning, I need altering, you know, I need all this extra stuff. So you still got to give me something, because if you're going to give me a suit off the rack, it's not going to fit, and it's not going to be good content for you anyway.
Right. What has been your biggest struggle so far in this journey?
My biggest struggle right now in this journey has been, honestly, just keeping on top of everything. You know, social media changes every day. Instagram changes every day. Figuring out what to do to get more engagement, trying to get more audience. diving into other social media networks. You know, it's very important to not keep all your eggs in one basket. I think that's the phrase. You know, creating content on Twitter, creating content on Facebook, creating content on YouTube, creating content everywhere else, you know, because you don't, what happens if Instagram turns off tomorrow? You know, then you're done, you know? So it's always trying to keep track of all the other social media networks, creating relevant content for all those, and then, you know, at the end of the day, still posting on Instagram on a regular basis.
And where do you see Danny in the Bronx going?
Yes.
Where does this all go?
Where
Is there an end goal, or are you just enjoying the process?
Well, of course I'm enjoying the process. Look, I'm just hanging out with people and taking content on an iPhone. Like, this is life. This is life right now. You know, it's for me, it's just building the brand. I eventually want Dandy in the Bronx to be like a news source almost, where, you know, I can have other people go report events on my behalf. You know, like sometimes I get invited to like 4 events in one night. It would be amazing just to send other people to go there to just create content for me, to do Instagram stories for me. Eventually, you know, maybe having merch down the line, having clothing line for Dandy in the Bronx, maybe a suiting line or suiting accessories. But for right now, it's just creating cool content, repping the Bronx at the same time, and then just teaching guys how to dress.
I'm sure I asked this, but I'm going to ask it one more time,
Mhm.
which is that why is this important to you? Why is helping guys how to dress well important to you?
Why is helping guys dress well important to me? This goes back to what I said before, where people say you don't judge a book by its cover, which is a lie. So why not teach these guys how to control that? You know, people are judging people left and right every day based on what they wear. So, you know, most guys nowadays, you know, they're like, they dress because, you know, they want to get, you know, for the job interview, they have a date coming up and they don't know where to start. So hopefully they can, you know, follow my stuff and be like, okay, this is what works. Here's a cool brand to buy from. Here's a color combination to try out. Oh, I have a date coming up, you know, this Tinder date coming up. What do I wear? Okay, I could wear like a dress shirt, no tie, and a blazer. I saw Diego do that. Or, oh, I have a business meeting coming up. You know, I saw Diego wear this really cool black suit. All right, this is how he wears it. Oh, I gotta try this and that. You know, for someone like me, you know, this is just my everyday. Or for some guys, they wear a suit once or twice a year. So why not make that the best once or twice a year in your life?
Other than following Diego, Danny in the Bronx, other bloggers and fashion bloggers, fashion Instagram influencers that you look up to, that you recommend other people to check out also to get a more, like a variety on fashion, right? Not just suits, but something else.
Okay, no, 100%. So it's interesting you mention that because when I first started my blog, 2 of my first menswear bloggers I started following were actually women. So there's 2 blogs, 2 Instagrammers, one called She's a Gent, her name is Danielle Cooper, and the other one, A Dapper Chick. And they're both these menswear bloggers, and they're like, you know, queer, like, you know, androgynous style, but they still rock suits. And when they rock suits, they really rock it well. So I get a lot of inspiration from their suits as well. And this other menswear blogger I follow, one is called Life by Hill, and he wears suits maybe once in a while too, but he's more of the casual style. So if you're a guy who doesn't like wearing suits, that could be your cup of tea as well.
Awesome. Sort of parting question: what advice would you give to high school graduating Diego?
Oh my God, high school graduate Diego.
Knowing what you know now, knowing what's going to come for it.
Buy stock in Google, buy stock in like Apple, buy stock in like Amazon, buy Bitcoin, like no, but you know, like I would say that you know, just enjoy what you have, because I don't regret anything I've learned. I don't regret, you know, becoming a teacher. I don't regret any of that because that made me the person that I am today. There's probably like little things I probably would say, hey, don't go left, go right, or like shave that day or something like that. But other than that, you know, just to know that just keep going with the flow because it's gonna be all fine at the end.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that was great. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
Do you ever get nightmares that you're running around wearing Crocs?
Oh my God, I can't believe Crocs is still making content with people. Like, I think they're going out of business, I think, but no. My only nightmares in fashion include forgetting my pocket square or watch or something like that.
Do you like to move it?
Only twice a week, you know.
Okay. How many days every day do you spend doing laundry?
Laundry. I need to work with a brand that makes do laundry for me. I think that's the next step. My next step is to actually have every part of my life sponsored by someone. You know, laundry, bathroom, shower, everything. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, there are a lot of laundry startups. You should
There-
partner with them.
there you go.
And yeah, I think they'll do well. Do your suits complain about favoritism? Like, have they tried to unionize to make sure every suit gets the same wear time?
You know, I run a democratic socialist suiting organization, and they have a suiting union, and we work together to do fair timing spent every week. Everyone gets a share, of the content out there with my photographers, and I think we work together really well. They get free tailoring. The union work together to do that, and it's all that matters.
How many suits do you own?
40 plus.
How do you justify using the phrase, "You don't know what it's like to stand in my shoes," knowing that your shoes are probably sexier and more comfortable than other people's shoes?
Oh my God. See, that's the thing though. I know there's people who wear regular human shoes, and I don't. It's okay. It's like I don't feel bad for them. It's like I want to give everybody a chance.
30-second shoe tips.
30-second shoe tips. Buy yourself a shoe tree and a shoe horn. Basically, keep your shoe in condition, and plus putting on the shoes. A shoe horn. I did not know that you can actually use that to put on shoes. Like I've been having the hardest time putting on shoes. Super easy.
Awesome. Has a bird ever pooped a tie on you?
Pooped a tie on me. Very lucky that very lucky or unlucky, because I usually get pooped on. That's a good sign of good luck. No, I've narrowly avoided many poops in my life.
Do you ever take off your skin instead of your clothes?
Yeah, actually, sometimes when it gets super humid out there and I'm just trying to do one fell swoop and it's like, oh shit, my bones.
Does your hair ever complain about the way you style it?
If I still have this hair, when I'm in my 60s or 70s or whatever, then I have a mutant power because I have so much product in this hair right now.
Do you wear a suit while showering?
I should make content while taking a shower with a suit. Actually, that reminds me, way back when, remember the Ice Bucket Challenge? I did that in a suit, so that's close enough, I guess.
That's awesome. Hopefully we can kind of clip up that in here.
I'll find it. I'll post that to you.
Awesome. Yeah, that was great.